Ba-bam.
We in there. Who protects us from you? Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is your boy Sean Q, my partner, like always.
J. Roman.
Together we are OSP, and we are feeling a little bit better today. We're feeling a little bit. I like how your T-shirt has the old school perspective, and mine says "dirty old man." Yeah, well, my birthday just passed. I'm a dirty old man now.
You were dirty before that.
Oh, yeah, but I was an old man. I was dirty, but now I'm a dirty old man. So we're feeling pretty good, and we will explain why right off the bat with our what's popping. What's popping is, as of today, today is Wednesday, correct? Yes, Wednesday. The verdict came out yesterday. Derek Chauvin, that I don't know how to refer to him other than a piece of shit. The piece of shit who murdered George Floyd was found guilty on all counts. And it has sparked, like everything does now, all kinds of outrage, all kinds of everybody feels some type of way about it. And it's another thing in like the OJ case where if social media was around during the OJ case, I'm very curious to know, like, imagine what shit would have looked like. Imagine what Twitter would look like the day of the OJ verdict.
The internet would have been broken.
Easily. It would be the way what's happening now. We all saw video of this man getting murdered by this cop, and the fact that there are still people who can say, well, maybe stop it. Just stop it. Just don't even stop it.
Yeah.
Cut the shit. People are saying justice. It wasn't justice. It was accountability, which I agree with fully. It's not necessarily justice. It's what's supposed to happen. That is the way our justice system is supposed to work. It just should not even have taken this long. That's how I feel about it. But yeah, everybody feels a type of way about it. How's it? Did you sleep a little bit better, Jay Roman, after hearing it?
Not exactly. Other things have happened basically the same day, and before that, 6 miles away, the kid who got shot just last week, 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? So justice served for one, when, as someone put in our, one of our feeds, we need another 7 quadrillion trillion people to be held accountable. Some number that I can't even pronounce if it's a real number. Here's a couple of things I feel about it. A month-long trial for a murder the entire world witnessed. Seems like crazy talk, but that's our justice system. At least we got that. So as far as accountability, I think you hit that spot on. Justice is hard to say because this man can get as little as 12 years with likely some kind of good behavior attached to it. Because, and this is the bullshit they tried to say, he has no priors. Okay, no priors, but he has 22 other complaints about different things he's done, including excessive use of force that led up to this. So how about those counted as priors? And that's one of those things of the blue wall that keeps them shielded from scrutiny and stuff like that and being punished the way they really should be. 22 other complaints, and then he finally took one too far that was on camera. If it wasn't on camera, they could have said pretty much whatever they wanted. And even the 100 witnesses that were around would have had to have some kind of proof to say this, So here's another couple of things about it really quick. It was the numbers that the doctor that I felt like was really, really strong about. He was a pulmonary doctor, I forget what they're called, who studies the chest, lungs, breathing, all that stuff. This guy has been doing it and for decades, written journals that are widely produced and world renowned, right? 3 minutes and 27 seconds. His knee was, and this is him watching the video and timing it himself when he watched it. 3 minutes and 27 seconds. His knee stayed on George Floyd's neck after his last breath. Okay. 2 minutes and 44 seconds after his last pulse. Okay. So biggest thing about it for me was the ones trying to justify his use of force and all that. Don't give me that bullshit. You know why? Because he had his knee on his neck and they were talking about resistance and all that. There were 3 other cops on the other parts of his body. He wasn't going to go anywhere. As soon as the man said, I can't breathe, should have lifted the leg. So justice my ass. You know what I mean? Like, if he gets 12 years and that's it, that ain't justice to me at all. Put his ass in Gen Pop. Give me that justice. You know what I mean? Straight up.
I'm pretty sure if that happened, there'd be a few more things, something more important than knees on the back of his neck. Maybe big old dicks.
What always gotta go there?
Cause man, that's what happens in Gym Pop, man.
You're supposed to be a dirty old man, not a teenager.
Hey man, listen, you get put in Gym Pop and let some brothers find out. I get it, you're a cop, but on in there, that don't matter when you're in there.
Yeah. But they're gonna get him in a separate wing because he's gonna have to be in isolation. He's gonna be in like the cop wing with the other bad cops.
Oh yeah. So we read this thing that said starting January 2022, LA is going to look into potential police candidates' social media accounts to determine the bias and possibly disqualify those based on discriminating posts. That means all these fucking cops who are out there on their social media who are cops during the day and then trolls at night and get to post all this bullshit, they might get fired for that shit. Which I mean, it's kind of happening anyway. The way it's happening now is and it's been happening for a while. If you post some shit, it's gonna come back to bite you in the ass. We've been saying for years.
Yeah.
Why are you posting shit on social media? It's always gonna come back. It's always gonna bite you in the ass.
Yeah.
Come on, what the fuck is wrong with you people?
But the thing is, these are the candidates up and coming. The ones who are already in, I'm not sure how they're gonna handle that. But these candidates are the ones that are gonna get looked into because they're the social media age. They're gonna be the 20s. They're gonna be the late 20s, early 30s if you get a cop that starts that old. And so that's perfect. Yeah. You should not be able to be a cop if you show bias or discrimination in your post because that's what you think in your head when you're out in the world. That's what you think when you're out dealing with people. If you're going to walk up and you have a bias against, maybe an Asian Catholic person that you happen to know is Asian and Catholic, when you start dealing with that person, that's going to be there. You can't hide it. You can't turn it off. It's there, and people feel that. I love the idea.
What bothers me is that it has to come into effect in 2022. They should already be doing that. If you're getting hired for a basic ass job, they check your social media just to see who the fuck they're hiring. If you're
the thing,
that should be first.
A lot of precincts or a lot of police stations, whatever, already do, but now it's going to be mandatory. Now it's going to be part of the process no matter what. Some of them do, some of them don't. But now it's going to have to be. But that's also, from what I understand, I think that's LA only right now. So it's the start of something. So it's only really in LA right now. But it's at least the start of the LA policing reform that we need to see. So, I mean, they're one of the cities that have the longest way to go when it comes to police reform, in my opinion. So it's great that at least that's going to happen. But gosh, there's got to be so much more. Can we get out the ones that are already posting that shit?
Right.
Can we do that yet?
Right. I'm actually going to mention one later in our What the Shit about somebody posting and not realizing once you put some shit on the internet, it's out there, dum-dum.
And the thing is, there are going to be fights about free speech and First Amendment bullshit. That's all out the window when you discriminate against people. That's what people don't seem to understand. You can't really protect your free speech if you are saying something that's discriminatory, which means you are saying something somebody is less than. You were saying you were superior because of this thing. That's called racism. That's sexism. That's called religiosism. Whatever the heck, all the isms. That's all that shit. So don't give me that bullshit.
Which, listen, if you want to say some discriminatory shit on your social media, that is fine. If you own your own business and you don't have to deal with anybody else, or you are retired and you don't have to deal with people and you can stay in your cave, by all means, be as racist and as chauvinist and as sexist as you want to be. But if you have to police people, you can't discriminate against people. That's fucking common sense. Like that's basic.
But as I heard today in a police reform little podcast was common sense isn't so common, or else everyone would have it.
This is true.
Like that is so perfect. I can't believe you actually made me remember that because I was listening to it. I was like, I don't think I remember that, but that's perfect.
I mean, it sucks, but it is what it is. So it's funny as we're talking about social media. You and I were talking, and I said there was a group that I'm in, and one of my favorite wrestlers, Mick Foley, posted, "Today's a good day to lose some followers." And he posted BLM, Black Lives Matter.
I love that.
And there's a few, and just like on cue, a bunch of people stopped following him. He's like, I'm good. I didn't want those people following me anyway. And this group that I'm in, it was like a sports group, which it made no sense. It was some white guy that was like, well, guess you can delete me, Mick Foley. And everybody in the group, and mainly the brothers, was like, why do you think Mick Foley knows who the fuck you are? Why do you think Mick Foley gives a fuck about John Smith from fucking San Bernardino, California?
Yeah,
he don't.
Exactly.
He don't. You said the same thing happened with Britney Spears. I didn't hear about
that. She just decided to post a BLM, Black Lives Matter, on her Insta, and her 30 million followers who saw it there was some backlash, controversy, Britney Spears. So the funny thing is, there's a lot of people that called her out, like, "Oh my gosh, how you're gonna lose us? We can't believe you're supporting this, blah blah blah." But then also, it apparently fueled the fire that she doesn't control her own account. But Britney Spears came out and said, "No, I support that. I do my own account. My life is great. I'm happy.
Right.
Fuck y'all." She didn't say fuck y'all, but you know what I mean. But to that effect, and it's like, what does it matter to you? Like, if you don't like it because she thinks Black Lives Matter and you don't, bounce. She don't care. She's gonna get another. For every one she loses, she's probably gonna get 5 that say, "Oh, you know what? I appreciate that. Let me start following her now."
Yeah, I
She's
think
still
it's
cute.
funny. People get followers and following confused. It's funny when you hear this, when people, they don't think of it as, even if you think of it as, "Oh, I'm not gonna follow anymore. She's gonna miss my following. She's gonna rue the day I stop following her." And then there's crazy people who were like, "Oh, you know what? Unfollow me, Brittany. Delete me." That bitch ain't following you. There's nothing to delete. She doesn't give a fuck about you.
Yeah.
And if we're being honest, she more than likely doesn't know you exist. So she won't be missing that follow, buddy.
She's never scrolled through her 30 million followers and seen your name and
Not
said,
one
"Let me find out more about this one."
Not one time. I guarantee you, not one time has Britney Spears had a whole bottle of wine sitting in the bathtub, scroll through all of her followers and just checking them all out. "Oh, he can get it. He can get it." Didn't happen, bro. Doesn't talk about you. He doesn't care.
Oh, man.
Real quick, so we're this episode, man, it's up and it's down, it's up and it's down.
I know. We got laughs, we got crying,
we just lost another one, man, and it hits in a weird way though. So we just lost Black Rob, and Black Rob leaving is like, whoa. See what I did there?
I see that for sure.
It's kind of it's hitting us because we call ourselves Old School Perspective. We're old school heads. We're hip hop heads, and a lot of hip hop heads, once they're passing 40, a lot of musicians, a lot of artists, once they pass 50, it's getting scary, and they're passing young. Dying before 60 is young to die. Now, when people are
now that we're this age, it feels like that.
Yeah, and the way technology is, and people living to 117 and shit, it's crazy to know that people are dying. I mean, Prince, for different reasons, but the fact that, like you mentioned it to me, like Prince died before he was 60, Michael Jackson died before he was 60. All these are DMX just passed away. Like, we just lost a lot of people, and we're losing it. It's like making us face our mortality. It's making us realize people who we listen to, not just as kids and as teenagers, but as young adults, are like passing away. They're dropping. And as we get older, we're watching these people die. And we're like, fuck, this is not even, it's early. It's too soon for this shit. It's rough, man. It's shitty.
It's one of those things that, besides our mortality, it's just what's happened in our generation up to that age and a little bit past it that's made them go to those points where they die. Now, I still don't even really know how Black Rob died. It doesn't matter to me. Just the fact that he was only 52 when he died. We know how DMX died. It was a really unfortunate thing that it also was a very similar way to the way Prince died, which now is 5 years past, to the way Michael Jackson has died, which is now, 10 years past, something like that. And it just really makes you think, okay, for one, take care of yourself. No matter what it is, mentally, physically, whatever it's got to be, just do what you got to do. Because that's one thing you mentioned about DMX, is that he looked like he was on the path to like health. He looked good. He had weight on him. He was speaking about mental issues, which he kind of always has. And so I don't know what to think about it, because Black Rob was not as big of an impact as DMX. So it's not like tears came to mind. Like when DMX passed, I was done, man. I was crying. I couldn't believe it. Black Rob is like, oh damn, another one around the same age. What Black Rob did with the song "Whoa" was he made a song that was so impactful. No matter what happens, when you hear it, you hear the beat, everyone kind of tenses up, and then the head bobbing goes. And he was also like the coming back of Bad Boy to more of a street style raw hip hop. And then it was just that one album. The second one wasn't so well received. And then he was kind of by the wayside. So of course we didn't feel the impact, but we felt the impact at the time, and we feel it now because it just shouldn't have been. It just shouldn't be this young. You know what I mean? So it's hard to really put a stamp on how we feel about it. It just really sucks.
Yeah. So I read this thing. It was a quote, and I'm gonna misquote it, obviously. And it was they had a picture. You know, when you look online, they have a quote and they have a picture of somebody like Morgan Freeman or Denzel Washington. I don't know if Denzel said it, but they had a picture of him there, and it said, "If you die, your job will find somebody to replace you. The people who love you will mourn you for a long time. So make sure while you're alive, you're paying attention and focused on what matters. Focus more on the people who love and care about you than you do on that job." And I feel like that's where we're at with health right now. We're so focused on shit that doesn't matter as much. Like, it's not as important when you're focused on getting that money, when you're focused on putting this shit out, when you're focused on things other than your health. You have to take care of yourself. They say, rich people have been saying it for years, health is wealth. Take care of yourself, get that sleep, drink that water, get that exercise in, take care of yourself. And I feel like with our generation, especially with the people, like what you said, what could it be that's making these people at that time kind of fall off? Yeah. Nobody was preaching that to us. Nobody was telling that the way they're telling our kids now. Nobody was telling us after a Bad Boy video, yo, make sure you drink your water. You know what I mean? It was like, yo, man, fuck bitches, get money. Like, none of that.
I guess so, but who's saying drink water now, though?
I mean, it's the thing is, because of technology and because of all access to all knowledge, health is everywhere. If you look on social media, every fucking fifth thing you look at, it's like, yo, man, try this new workout, or try this water, try this protein shake, try this. Everything's about being healthy so much more than it was before. So even if you're like, I'm not doing that, but I'll do this, I do exercise. Imagine if they had fucking Fitbits back in the late 90s. Like, a lot of us would be in better shape. You know what I mean? Like, shit like
the unfortunate thing is, saying that though, there's still a huge issue with our eating habits and health and weight here in this country. I myself have weight issues that I can't seem to overcome, because you know why? I love some cake. But who doesn't
enjoy some good cake, J. Roman?
So, but it's like I can't seem to control myself if there's a cake in the house. So I got to make sure it's not in the house. I tell people all the time, I'm like, yeah, my boy Shaun, he used to just grab it out my hand, like, no.
Goddamn cake.
And, and I was in decent shape at that time. And I tell my wife all the time, like, you got a conspiracy. Every time you bring a cake in the house, I'm gonna destroy it. Like, just stop. I got no more willpower, man. Like, why bother? But it's definitely an eye opener. You know what I'm saying? Like, just to be able to get my weight down a little bit. Just to be more healthy for my daughter. She's only 4 and I'm 40, about to be 41. So, or she's not even 4. And to think that some of these people are losing their parents to health issues, like Chris, like Big Pun. Big Pun died at like 30 because he was granted 600 pounds. But we really gotta, as a young people who grew up on fast food. Granted, it was a treat for me growing up. We didn't have it often. My mom was diligent. She cooked all the time. Bless her. To this day, I gotta, in fact, think of, like, when Mother's Day comes, thanking her real big, because the fact that she came home and cooked dinner after hard days of work, I can't even think about cooking dinner half the days, and I don't even work that hard. I feel like, so, it's crazy, but we really gotta keep each other in mind, sharpen each other in these ways to really stay focused on these kind of things, because health is wealth, and we are in the age where everything starts to ache. My ankles hurt, my feet hurt, everything hurts. At 50, with these cats who just passed, I don't know what they were feeling, but I'm sure they hurt more than I do. Yeah. So we really gotta be better with ourselves. We and we gotta seek out the help that we're gonna need, mentally and physically, to reach 50 and beyond. Yeah. I mean, we lost Bozeman and over the summer, and he was only 43. Granted, cancer is a different beast. That's not just eating habits, but still, it's nuts.
Yeah. So we're gonna take a break. Everybody go drink some water, eat some carrots, get some broccoli in you. Fucking remember rice cakes? Somebody eat a fucking rice cake. We're gonna take a break.
They're tasty though.
They are, some of them. Keep your eyes open, keep your ears open. We'll be right back. All right, we back. Jay Roman.
Focused.
Welcome back. We are chopping up about, current events, shit that's happening in the streets right now. I don't know about you, but I ate a carrot on the break. It was a baby carrot, but whatever, I ate it.
I drank some water.
You're a goddamn liar. So the there's new voter restrictions around the country. There's a big deal right now that's happening. Everybody's talking about Georgia. Georgia. Explain to people what's going on in your own words, Mr. Roman.
Well, I mean, plain and simple, they've made laws harder to. They've enacted laws that have made it harder for people of color to vote. They try and say it's for everybody, which, granted, it actually does shoot some of themselves in the foot too, because white people who are racist in that way to where they want to block other people from getting stuff usually will do that. They will, what's it called? Cut off their nose to spite their face type of thing. So it does affect them too, but not as much as it would when you cut off, the ability to give water to people in line because you may be swaying their votes because you've already made it an 8-hour line for them to vote, which is insane. When you've cut off the, souls to the polls, which is a thing that the churches do for the Sundays before the elections to get people to vote. I'm sorry, do the white voters have souls to the poll that now you've cut off the Sunday votes at these churches? I'm sorry, is that seem not targeted to you? I don't know.
And then the same thing with the transportation. So are you saying I couldn't do the souls? I couldn't go to church on Sunday and get on the bus and have them take me to the polls? I'm not allowed to do either of those anymore? Well,
none of that.
Wow.
Yeah. So those are just like the very basics of the laws, the ridiculousness.
Right.
That for some reason they want to be harder to vote, even though this was the best turnout of voting and the most secure in history, according to the DOJ, that the last guy appointed, hoping he can get some turnaround in the election that he knew he was probably going to lose anyway. So whatever, man. So not only about that though, but some companies have spoken out about time. It took them a while, but they spoke out. Granted, they spoke out a while ago at this point, a couple weeks. I'll give them their 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago they did. So Coke was one of them. They spoke out. Delta, they spoke out. I want to say like a few stars, but also Uber, Lyft, Etsy, Reddit. All these guys spoke out. Reddit better have, because that bastard's married to Serena Williams. Shoot, better treat my shit. You better watch it. Whatever the hell your name is, you better treat Serena right forever. Anyway.
Oh, we'll come for you. We'll come get you. Oh yeah.
So and that's nice. That's nice. And then so this guy, Mr. Orange Face himself, calls for a boycott against.
Wait. Is this a Trump sighting? Are we about to have a J. Roman Trump sighting? I should make a soundbite just for this.
So the best part about it is he calls out Coke and all these companies. Oh, screw them, get rid of them. And then the Georgia State Legislature calls for all the Cokes to be removed from the buildings that they work in to boycott Coke themselves. Like Coke's gonna give a shit. And then the funny thing is about Trump making that call to boycott Coke. Then he has a picture where you can see him hiding the Coke behind a picture.
Donald Trump said boycott Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
The same man who said during his presidency he would drink 12 Diet Cokes a day. Same man. Same dude whose resorts and all his companies have Coke vending machines and serve Coke and serve Coca-Cola products.
They haven't stopped those.
He's like, you should boycott it. Like, what about you? Don't worry about me. That does not surprise me at all. This is the same dude. That was like, we should go storm the Capitol. I'm going to go over here real quick and check on some things. You guys go. That's the dude who was like, we should boycott Coke. I'm thirsty. I'm going to go in the bathroom and drink some brown water. Don't worry about what I'm doing, but you should definitely. It's fucking funny that dude still being talked.
You have them and you have the MLB who moved already. You do have some others though that were kind of surprising, or I don't know about surprising, but you have Will Smith, who whatever new movie he's working on, they've moved production out of Georgia. Right. But you also still have Tyler Perry Studios. So I had a little discussion about this where it's really tough when you have something as huge as Tyler Perry Studios because he employs a lot of the community there. So the people of Black Panther, including the director himself, have decided to keep production there because it is such a huge undertaking and it will affect so many Black people's lives to not have that work. So they're staying. They're going to do everything they can to bring awareness to these ridiculous laws, which is nice. And so the statement of not being able to do your thing there or move from there, or, going against them, that's great. Let's see if they put their money where their mouth is. You can boycott it all you want. You can say all you want, but does that mean you're going to stop supporting these companies? Because some of these companies are also Republican Party donors.
Right.
Who are saying this. So I can appreciate that the fact that they're donors to the Republican Party and then speaking out against these ridiculous new laws. So, but it's like, are you going to also stop donating to them in every state? I don't know how it's going to work. Most of them probably won't. So we'll have to see. You put your money with your mouth and see how you do it.
It's a weird one when you're fighting a full-on state in the union. You're fighting like a legislation. It's a toss-up. It's weird because we talked about Tyler Perry Studios and how he built the studios in Georgia and to Atlanta, but the people in charge of Georgia are fucking up. So what do? Do you cut all these jobs and take the money out of Georgia like the MLB did with the All-Star game? It's one thing to take one game away. It's another thing to take an entire business and uproot it and move somewhere else.
Not impossible. Movie production is going to take months.
It's
going to take months to finish.
It'd be hard as shit to do. But since you mentioned the MLB, let's stay on that real quick because something cool. I'm telling you, people, this episode we're talking about everything, man. We got politics, we got hip hop. We're about to talk about some gaming. Check this out. So for the first time in ever, MLB The Show is now on Xbox. Now it may not mean a lot to some of you, but the gamers out there who've been on Xbox, like myself, understand we've been thirsting for a baseball game. I think it was MLB 2K15 or 16, something like that, was the last professional baseball game on Xbox. PlayStation and Sony have had a monopoly on baseball, just like EA has a monopoly on Madden and football. So they finally they brought it back to Xbox. Unfortunately, I guess Xbox wasn't ready, or Sony Studios, they're just trash. So they knew it was going over to Xbox. It was going to be, cross-platform playable. And so there's been...
It is. Is it?
Yeah. It's just been outage after outage after outage. Oh. You go on, people are like, I had 16 strikeouts. And this motherfucker said internet connection lost. Everybody's mad, man. And it sucks. What's good about the game is that Sony Studios makes it, which whatever. I how I feel about Sony and PlayStation, but it's San Diego Studios. And for the first time, they get a San Diego athlete on the cover. They get Fernando Tatis Jr., who was a monster. They get him on the cover. So it's like, look, we got this. Everybody come play our game. And then in the event that there were some people who didn't want to play, we added Jackie Robinson to the cover of a baseball game for the first time ever, which is dope. And the concept is great. And everybody's like, oh, we're on Xbox. I got it. I'm on Xbox. All right, man, let's play some. What? Huh? The server's down? Huh. Well, this is some bullshit. So good idea. Fucked up execution. I mean, kudos to you for bringing baseball back and then fucking us with it.
So the crazy thing about that is, from what I understand, and you can correct me upon this one, I thought I read that the Game Pass that Xbox players have was going to give the MLB game.
They are, and I don't have Game Pass, but yeah, if you have Game Pass, it was coming out with the launch,
so you don't have to pay extra.
Right. If you're already paying for Game Pass, you didn't have to pay for the launch.
Okay, so that's how it works. So because Sony is not doing that. If you have the PlayStation Plus or Now or whatever it might be, they're not giving it to you for free. You can maybe get a little discount, maybe, but I doubt it because they have like 5 different versions, to limited, to legendary, to the huge box set. So people are mad about that. Like, oh, Xbox is going to get it from their Game Pass monthly thing, and the PlayStation's not. So now I'm pissed because now I have to pay for it. Well, you won't have to pay for it regardless. So
yeah,
I mean, it's you play PlayStation. That's what it is.
If I had $1 for every time I heard the fucking phrase PlayStation exclusive, are you fucking kidding me? Remember, and we were just talking about this too. Remember that Avengers game came out and it was like, oh, Spider-Man, PlayStation only. Yep. Did you forget about that? I forgot about that. Also, where's Spider-Man at?
Yeah,
Spider-Man ain't even there yet. What's going on there?
They are hush right now about Spider-Man. There is no word. There's 2 other worlds coming or 2 other events coming, and everyone's still like, but where's Spider-Man?
Nowhere to be found. He's at home washing his tights.
Avengers so far has been a big disappointment. It's kind of boring to play because it's very repetitive. Each player is cool, but it's until they get more of the stuff, I'm probably not going to plug it back in for a while or put it back in the disc or whatever. So
no one would blame you. I didn't even buy it. Staying in sports, though, there's a big deal that happened with two of the biggest names in sports ever, and it is Nike and the Kobe Bryant name, the Kobe Bryant
huge.
brand. Kobe's contract with Nike was up, his 5-year contract, and Vanessa Bryant, who is now in charge of the Kobe Bryant estate, decided that she wanted to cut ties, that she did not want to renew the contract. And it's a big deal because a lot of people didn't know behind the scenes Kobe was kind of beefing with Nike toward the end for multiple reasons. One, he didn't get the lifetime contract that Jordan and LeBron have. Two, there was a big issue with they weren't making a lot of Kobe shoes available in kid sizes, and they didn't like. I mean, if I'm an athlete, I would want a bunch of kid sizes available. I don't want a bunch of. I mean, I get it. Shoe heads and collectors are the ones who buy the shoes, and Kobe Bryant shoes would sell out like automatically. But the fact that they weren't accessible and not of them weren't accessible to kids is stupid. That's dumb. So I can see his beef there. And then the other one was a plan. He was planning to make his own Mamba brand.
Yeah, makes sense.
Because he owns the rights to the Mamba name and the sheath logo and all that good stuff. That's all his. So the question I have now is, since she cut ties with Nike and Kobe's not around to like promote, and I mean, you give somebody a lifetime contract, somebody like Jordan, who the Jordan brand is going to be around forever, long after he passes. But he still was making moves with it. Same thing with LeBron. LeBron is still relatively young. They expect, barring some tragedy, LeBron to be around for years promoting his brand. And Kobe didn't have that. So now it's kind of a crossroads. It's like, what is her plan with the Mamba brand? Does she go forward with it? Does she just cut it and be like, that's it? He had his thing with Nike and we're done. I'm kind of going to be watching this. And I'm not going to stare. I'm not going to be deep into it, but I'm kind of curious to see what she does with this. Like, that's a big step. What do you do when the legacy of your spouse is part of it is changed? Like, how do you move forward? I don't get, you know what I mean? What I'm trying to say.
You have to pause. I think what she's doing, she's going to pause, obviously, for one, because Nike just wasn't doing it for them anymore. And, not just the kids ones, but just Kobe merch in general, especially the last year, has just been so non-existent, so minuscule and so minimal that it makes, like you're saying, makes it inaccessible for most people, because you have people who just buy to flip it, you know what I mean? And and that's part of the game. We all know that. But now Kobe's that sat on shelves for years at $40-$50 are now worth $500 just because they cut the ties with Nike, and she wants the fans to be able to get a piece of the Kobe brand,
right?
Of the Black Mamba, whatever it's going to be, whatever you're going to call it, ultimately as the brand. So Nike not putting out enough kind of speaks volumes to her. Like, you know what, you're only really in it to keep the hype and keep your name. And I understand keeping the limited edition aspect to it a little bit, but they want more. And I can appreciate that people want more. Who she goes with, clueless. No idea, because Adidas and Nike, are they the same? I don't know. Or Adidas and Puma are the same? I don't know. So I think, I really don't know, because I remember, I think Adidas dropped Kobe after the rape thing a long time ago, and then Nike swooped them up like that. They picked them up in no time. So who do you go to at this point? I don't even know what company is part of what anymore. Right. Because I just know it's basically a monopoly at this point. No one else sells shoes as much as these companies. So you might as well go to like Etnies or some shit and start making some skateboarding shoes, because Kobe, was just multi-talented and everything. He probably was a skater too, and we don't even know. So, I think why not?
Right. If she hasn't already, she's gonna get a phone call from like Converse or Reebok, or somebody's gonna reach out.
That's already been in the works for sure.
I'm sure somebody's gonna reach out and be like, yo, let's start the Mamba brand. We'll do it under the Converse umbrella or whatever. And hopefully it works out for him.
That could be pretty dope. That could be super dope to have a lot more of the merch that people really want, because like you're saying, he frustrated he didn't get a lifetime brand, but LeBron does already, and Kobe is the legend that he already was. Right. 20 years in the league, 5 rings, the heir to Jordan, like the most apparent heir to Jordan ever, so far. And so the love that he has should really just dictate how it comes out. You know what I mean? And that's, I can appreciate that move. I appreciate it. Plus, I'm not a fan of Nike, so whatever.
so there's that. So this one, I've been waiting to get to this one. Let's get into our what the shit. So,
you've been itching for this one,
man. This little motherfucker. We have talked on multiple occasions about Kyle Rittenhouse. I will not let you people forget about Kyle Rittenhouse. Kyle Rittenhouse is a 17-year-old white boy who had his mom take him over state lines to go to a protest where he took an assault rifle and he ended up murdering 2 people. Kyle Rittenhouse then hasn't had a trial yet. Anderson .Paak said it best on his song on Lockdown. He goes, "You kill a man in broad day, you might never see a trial, because the way things are backed up right now, who knows when you'll fucking stand trial." So Kyle Rittenhouse, a bunch of people got together and started a GoFundMe, and he started a fucking a crowdfunding page and got his $2 million bail posted. People paid his $2 million bail. And now, while he waits for his trial, Kyle Rittenhouse, a 17-year-old white boy, goes out into the streets, I'm sorry, now 18, where people are buying him beers and shaking his fucking head and giving him gifts. This murderer is in the streets right now, having people buy him beers and taking selfies and shit with him. To the point where he's in a bar. The bar owner said, oh, he was with his parents. They're buying him beers. The cops hear about it and like, yo, it's kind of a big deal. We should go check and see if this kid's out here. He said, no, his parents were with him. And they're like, did you take a selfie with him? He goes, yeah, but it seemed cool. He seems like a nice guy. Everything seemed okay. This murderer is out in the streets drinking beer right now. And we mentioned earlier, we were talking about how they're checking people's social medias and officers' social medias. So they find out that there was a police lieutenant from Virginia who was he donated money to Kyle Rittenhouse's fucking lawyer fees. He sent a $25 donation with a note that says, "You did nothing wrong." This is a fucking police lieutenant in Virginia who told this murderer, "You did nothing wrong, kid." That dude no longer has his job, which it Black Republican clap. It is insane to me that there are people being murdered in the streets, never getting a chance to face trial, to have a jury of their peers, to get their day in court. But this little motherfucking murderer can roam the streets and people are buying him beers. Yeah. Apparently his trials got pushed back now to June or July. I'm not going to stop following this story. I really want to know what happens with this one. As much as there's accountability for Derek Chauvin and what happened there, I need some accountability for Kyle Rittenhouse, because this is bullshit. As much as people are watching the other cops in the George Floyd case, pay attention to what happens to Kyle Rittenhouse. Watch for that little motherfucker. I wish that motherfucker did come to a bar I was working at and people are buying him beers. No, I will not give him that goddamn beer. No, I'm not serving him. Fuck him. Yep. It's insane.
My thing was as well is what part of "you did no wrong" would he be referring to? The fact that he shot and killed people and one of them was white and the other one wasn't. I don't remember exactly. I'll never forget the white guy who was up in his face saying, "Shoot me," but then also saying the N-word with it, but he was totally white. And then he ended up dead. I'll always remember that very thing. So I don't, unfortunately, remember the other victim who died or the ones who got shot, because that one stands out in my head so much. But like, what was wrong? What was not wrong? That's what I don't understand.
If there's any,
they didn't provoke him to shoot them. They weren't shooting at him. So I don't understand why any cop or any person would even say that. It just makes no sense.
That's what we said. That's what we said. This was a vigilante who went somewhere he did not belong and that he was not needed. None of those businesses belonged to him or any of his fucking family. He had zero reason to be there. And then 2 people died. So as a cop, as a lieutenant, you hear about a vigilante going somewhere he's not supposed to be and then murdering people, and you send money for his fucking lawyer fees and tell him he didn't do anything wrong. I'm glad you don't have a fucking job. You're an idiot. You're an idiot.
He didn't go out like the Punisher to like shoot up the kingpins and the drug dealers and shit, you idiot. Like, what the hell are you talking about?
This is not, Kyle Rittenhouse is not Batman, and you were not Commissioner Gordon. You're a fucking idiot who's supporting a vigilante idiot. It's dumb. Gonna keep watching it. Easily a what the shit.
Absolutely.
To end on a positive note, our brother Curtis. Brother Curtis Millender. I knew this would happen. I called it. Jake called it. Brother Curtis Millender has signed a contract and joined with the PFL, which, if you don't know what that is, it is the Professional Fighters League. I think the concept is dope. It's an actual league of fighters, kind of like the Major League Baseball, like the National Basketball Association. It's a league of fighters. So unlike the UFC and unlike Bellator, it's not like a one fight and you're done type thing, and they change the rankings all the time. It's an actual league, and he's in it, and it's you win. I believe if you win 5 fights, you win $1 million, and it's crazy. It's dope. I feel like it caters to him and his
5 fights straight. Like, is it like a tournament?
Not yes, yeah, like a tournament. It's basically like if the King of the Ring were a league, and it caters to Curtis. It caters to his WWE fandom because he loves tournament style. He loves building. I'm just happy for him. I'm proud of him.
Bellator used to be tournament style. Sorry.
His first fight though is against Rory McDonald, and that happens next week. And that's
Where can I see this?
ESPN. Check it out. It's gonna be ESPN main event. Thursday, April 29th. Yep. Thursday.
Oh, damn. I'm on it.
Yep. Check it out. I will be at work. I'm going to stream it on the big screen. We're going to watch it. It's going to be dope. Watch the fight. Root for Curtis Millender. We love you. We're proud of you. I hope you push forward, man. I hope you win that $1 million. I'm going to hit you with the Chris Tucker. Hey, man, let me borrow $100. Just because. Hey, man, let me borrow $1 million.
I only got 3 words for you, Curtis. Beat his ass.
Step in the club. You get pound, pound, pound. You're gonna get up out of your face. I want to thank you for sitting down with us. As always, follow us on social media. You know, we're at Old School Perspective on Instagram, Old School Perspective on Facebook. We are OSP on Twitter. I even got bored one day and started a TikTok. Don't say shit to me right now, Jay Roman. We have a TikTok. Look up. I'm not bullshitting. Old School Perspective on TikTok. We're on there, dude. We're everywhere.
Gosh.
Tell everybody. We're trying to be everywhere. All right. So next time, I'm Sean Q. Be smart.
Jay Roman, we out.
Keep it old school.